you can surrender into the knowing that love is not going to miss you. You don't have to do anything more. You don't have to do anything less because you are worthy of love as you are right here, right now, period. So it's not a matter of doing more or healing more because love is not something to earn. Love simply aligns when your soul planned for it to.
Welcome to the Multiple Truths podcast. We're your hosts, Holly
and Brittany. This is a space where we can come together healing in community, where we share our self-love journeys, insights, and wisdom.
A space with no hierarchy or judgment, fostering love, compassion, and respect, and where we honor our differences. With open minds and hearts, everyone's truth is welcome here. We are in this together. Let's dive into the episode.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. You are here with Brittany today. I feel like it's been a minute since I've sat down and chatted with you guys. Maybe it feels like it's been a minute. I have been away. I've been traveling. I got back about a week ago and I just wanted to sit down and chat with you guys and just do a solo episode and just talk to you guys about my experience, a little story time. Talk about, some things that I guess I've learned through my journey and just kind of share it with you guys. As you could see, I'm ready for Christmas. You guys, look, I got this cute. If you're watching, look at how cute this pillow is. It's so cute. A little gingerbread pillow. I actually got this yesterday. I went to Michael's to buy a bunch of yarn because I'm back to making blankets because I started that last year where I started making like blankets for people. And I've been making blankets for all of my family members for their birthdays, and my mom's birthday's coming up, so I'm back to like making the big blankets, crocheting. Anyway, so I went to go buy yarn and I got distracted from the Christmas stuff because I also decorated for Christmas this weekend. I know it might be early for some of you. I decorated on November 1st because it happened to fall on a Saturday. And I was like, hell yeah. In Canada, we've already had our Thanksgiving. So I was like, I love Christmas. And I'm like, I'm excited to have like November, December, Christmassy. And then I'm the type of person where like when the new year hits, I'm like, okay, fresh start. Let's take everything down. And anyways, I got this pillow last year from Michael's also. How cute! A little Santa pillow. So I bought a couple new things for Christmas. I'm not the type of person that's going to buy a bunch of new stuff every year because that's consumerism at its finest. And you don't need to buy new Christmas decorations every single year. I reused all of my decorations from last year. Plus, I bought a couple extra things because I'm in a bigger space. So I had some extra spaces to fill. Anyways. Woo! I'm in the holiday season. Look at this little Grinchy Grinch I have back here. Look at this. If you're listening, you're probably like, what is she even talking about? But I'm showing my little cute pillows. I'm such a weirdo. Anyways, we're just going to put him right here. He's going to watch you guys. He's going to make sure that you are... Okay. Come on, Grinchy Grinch. Let's... Okay. He's going to watch you. He's going to be watching. He's going to make sure that you guys are hydrating yourselves. Where's my water? My water's over there, of course, obviously. Anyways, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water, any form of beverage, or maybe you're driving. Get cozy, get comfy, and let's chat. I hope you all have been doing well. Again, I feel like it's been a minute. Let's talk about Europe. So, oh my God, my cat almost just fell. Sorry. Let's talk about Europe. My soul called me to Europe, and it was kind of unexpected. Like I didn't expect that I would be going. I just moved in May, coming back from Peru. And I thought that for sure I would be home until the new year. And then I had the soul nudge to go to Europe. And I was like, okay, we're listening to it. Don't really have money on hand for it. I took money out of my tax savings to go. So I'm in debt to myself, quite a bit of money. But we'll get into that in a moment because, let's talk about it right now. The universe has been stretching me when it comes to money and finances. And they've been doing this for a few years now, where they kind of push me into surrender and trust and push me into listening to my intuition and not letting money stop me. And every single time I do that, it pushes me and it challenges me. But every single time I do it, the money always comes back, and it comes back tenfold. Like it comes back in a greater amount than what I was making prior. So the universe kind of did that to me again this time. They're like, "Do you trust us? Are you going to go into debt? Are you going to spend money on yourself and cherish yourself because I had such a good time." And I'm going to get to that when we're there. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but let's talk about the money for a minute because this is very real for a lot of people, you know. I personally have been of the mindset that money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work very hard for your money. I actually posted something on my Instagram yesterday after reflecting, and I'm going to read it to you guys right now. Um, so on my Instagram, I posted a video and hold on. And it says, your productivity level does not equate to how much success you will achieve. And then in the caption, I wrote, "Your worth is not measured by how productive you are." Many of us have been conditioned to believe that the harder we work, the more success and money we'll achieve. But that belief is a lie that keeps so many stuck in the rat race. I know because I was there. At one point, I was working 3 jobs, teaching full time, waiting tables after school, and coaching gymnastics on weekends. I even coached within the school system on top of that. I was always working, yet still living paycheck to paycheck. And this is true. I lived this for years and I was miserable. Okay. Like I always felt like you had to work hard for your money. And I worked hard. I worked so much. That's all my life was work, 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 to afford what I wanted to do. And I was quite literally living paycheck to paycheck. Crazy. Growing up, I consistently heard phrases like money doesn't grow on trees. I internalized those beliefs so deeply that I felt guilty if I wasn't doing something. Relaxing on the couch felt dirty. Subconsciously, I thought productivity made me valuable, and I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. Let me explain that a little bit. Like, literally, do you guys know what I mean when you're sitting down and relaxing and you feel guilty because you feel like you should be doing something? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sit with that because you shouldn't feel guilty. If you feel guilty, by sitting and relaxing, there's something deeper there, right? Because you shouldn't feel guilty about that. I'm not telling you to sit on your ass and never do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like that's different, but you shouldn't feel guilty for sitting down and resting and taking time for yourself. Okay? Because that was very real for me. It's like my nervous system didn't feel safe if I was taking care of myself, if I was resting, if I was relaxing. Um, and I I wore my exhaustion like a badge of armor. I remember thinking like, "Oh yeah, I only got 5 hours of sleep because I did this today, this," almost like it was a badge of armor to be so busy all the time and to work so hard and to this and to that. And I'm realizing now like, ugh, my poor younger self who based her worth on her productivity. Like I feel for her. I'm proud of her for how far she's come, but I do not ever want to go back. Um anyways, too many people live this way, and the truth is, we were never meant to live this way. Working our lives away, that's not truly living. When I was overworking, I was miserable. My body was begging for rest. I even got a bout of vertigo so bad I was bedridden for a period of time. Truly an awful experience. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. My body was screaming at me to slow down, and I didn't know how to listen. So that's also true. Like, I've gotten vertigo a couple of times, and in one period when I was working my ass off, overworking, overextending myself, I got a bout of vertigo so bad, you guys, I was bedridden. Like, quite literally, I couldn't take care of myself. I was so dizzy. I couldn't even go to the bathroom without puking. I don't know if you've experienced vertigo before. I've experienced it other times where it wasn't so severe because you can experience it kind of like super severe and not very severe. I had a bout of vertigo so bad. It was so bad. I couldn't even walk myself to the bathroom because I would fall over. Like, literally, I remember crawling to the bathroom so that I wouldn't fall over, so that I could go to the bathroom. But that movement in and of itself made me so sick that I was like trying to pee while also puking like in the garbage can at the same time because it was really bad. And then I slowly got better, but it was still not fully away. Like I had that bout of vertigo. Like I was bedridden for probably about a month, but that bout of vertigo I probably had for at least 6 months where I couldn't go to the gym. I wasn't even able to drive because if you have vertigo, you can't drive. Like it was bad, bad. It was bad, bad. That's a story for another time. But my body, and now in hindsight, I believe it's because my body was screaming at me to slow the F down. I was overworking, overextending myself. I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't listening to the needs of my body. Anyways, but now everything is different. I do what I love. I create from joy, not pressure. I make time every day for stillness and rest. I no longer overwork, and I'm more financially secure than I've ever been. What changed? My nervous system and how worthy I genuinely believe that I am, not how worthy I tell myself I am. Because there's a huge difference between genuine belief and what you tell yourself to believe, right? Often in the spiritual community, the manifestation community, or whatever, just tell yourself you're worthy. Just tell yourself this. And it's not a bad thing to tell yourself these things, right? But it's one thing to just fake it and pretend. And it's another thing to actually embody that worth. And that the embodiment takes time, which I think I go on to say here. Yeah. When you truly embody that worth, everything shifts. But embodiment isn't easy. That's the real work, and it takes time. It took me years of looping through cycles of overworking because deep down I didn't believe I could be successful or worthy unless I was consistently doing and sacrificing. Something I am still working on. It's a journey and requires consistent devotion to self. The real work is regulating your nervous system and finding safety and worth from within. When that happens, the world mirrors that back to you. So, yeah, sorry, I'm looking down because my cat is demanding my attention right now. I started this episode before and she like stepped right on my laptop, deleted everything like with her paws. I was like, "Are you serious, girl? Like, you need to stay away from my laptop that's running." So she's demanding my attention. So if you're watching and I'm kind of looking down, it's because she's here and petting her with her little tongue sticking out. What are you doing, crazy girl? Anyways, but yeah, going back to the finances. So for me, the universe has put me through these cycles of surrender and trust and listening to my intuition and letting go of the overworking and need to control, if that makes sense. I remember when I quit teaching, that was a leap of faith, surrender, trust. The money ended up coming. People thought I was crazy. And then I remember after I was doing readings for a while, my intuition, my higher self, my spirit team guided me to stop doing readings. And I was like, "Stop doing readings? What do you mean? You have me traveling the world, Airbnb hopping. So I'm spending a lot of money, but not making money." I went about 15 grand into debt. I listened, I trusted. 6 months later, a chunk of money came that canceled that debt out. And on top of that, when I started working again, I was making more money than I was prior. And then the universe kind of just did that to me again. So January of this past year, January 2024, all of a sudden I made so much money on my YouTube out of nowhere, like out of nowhere, from making like $200 at the most to a lot more money. And, my ego thought that this would be consistent. It was not a consistent. It was a little burst of money for a couple months to make me feel secure enough to move because I moved and I know it was so divinely led, this house that I moved into. But I was like, I can afford it now. So I moved. And as soon as I moved, you guys, as soon as I took this leap of faith and moved, all of a sudden, all of the money I was making on my YouTube literally like didn't even cut in half. It like dropped times seven. Like it didn't go all the way back to what I was making before, but compared to what I made to what I'm making now, like barely anything compared to what I was making at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, the universe gave me all of the security to move, and then it's like they ripped it out from underneath me. And I was like, what is going on? And then on top of that, they're like, go travel. Stop doing readings. So I haven't been doing readings for the last 4 months. So I haven't been making money off of that. So I'm like, what the F is going on? So for a while, as I wasn't doing readings, I had enough money to support me because of the money that I made earlier in the year. I had like a little bit of a bank. So I was living off of that. And then the universe was like, go to Europe. And at this point, when I was guided to go to Europe, that bank was gone. And I was like, but with what money? And I'm like, they're stretching me again. They're doing it again because they want to push me deeper into surrender, deeper into trust, deeper into that. So I did. I went to Europe, and when I tell you I wined and dined myself every day, I dated myself. I came back to life on this trip. It was something that I didn't even know that I needed, and I'm going to get into that part of it in a minute. But I was like, do you know what? Okay, I trust that I deserve this. I know that the money is going to come because in the past, it always has, especially when the universe puts me in this position of surrendering deeper into trust. The money always comes back. And not only does it always come back, it comes back tenfold. So I said, okay. And when I tell you I spent a lot of money on myself when it comes to all of it, right? Flights, because I was there for about a month, flights, Airbnbs, taking myself out to eat every day, all meals, like, and not just buying the cheap stuff. I was like, what do I really want today? Okay, I want a steak. I'm going to go take myself out to a steakhouse and I'm going to get myself a glass of wine and I'm going to get myself dinner because I did that and I did that regularly when I was away. Um, so I spent a lot of money and the ego, right? The fear starts to come back. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm going home so much in debt. What am I going to do?" Da, 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 da. And lo and behold, boom, clarity hits. Clarity hits. And I'm so excited and so inspired for what's coming in the new year. I'm really excited. And I'm not doing any of these things for money. But the clarity came after the surrender. The breakthrough happened after the surrender, after the leap, after all of this fear arose within me. And I know that I'm good. The money is going to come back and it is coming back tenfold. And it's coming back through inspiration, through heart led guidance, if that makes sense. It's not through working harder. It's not through, oh my God, I'm stressed. I have to make this money back that I, took out of my tax savings. Otherwise, I'm going to be screwed when tax season comes. But it's coming back and it is coming back tenfold. And it's coming back enough so to pay myself back, to also pay my parents back because they helped me through a period of time. They act as a bridge for me and I'm so grateful. And this was a couple years ago and I haven't been able to pay them back yet, and I'm going to be able to pay them back and I'm going to be able to support myself for the next while. So I'm like, oh my God, the universe did it again and it makes sense now. But that breakthrough wouldn't have come unless I took the leap. So I wanted to share that really quickly, about the money, the finances, and how it's really been a journey and how I've been there before. I've been there working tooth and nail, working myself literally to the point where I was bedridden, where my body was screaming at me to slow the F down. So I understand that and I understand it. I've been there and it took a long time for me to get out of that cycle. Okay, it's been a journey. But that's a story for another day. I think I might do a whole video on that on my YouTube come the new year where I kind of talk about that more in depth. But I wanted to, share that little piece because I'm so excited for this breakthrough that I had. Anyways, um, let's now talk about Europe, like the specific. I don't want, not really the specifics, but it's not what I expected it to be. I thought that I was going to go to Scotland and Ireland. That's where I thought my soul was calling me. And that's not where I ended up. So I went to Germany to meet up with my siblings that were there. My sister was there with her boyfriend. My brother was there with his girlfriend. And we all went to Oktoberfest together and it was fun. It definitely took me out of hermit mode because I have been in hermit mode for years, you guys. Like I've been on a deep internal journey, healing journey, self love journey for years now. And I've really kind of hermited more than I realized. I don't like going out of the house, all of these things. And I kind of fell out of love with life without realizing it. So this kind of pushed me out of the house. It wasn't the normal trip that I do. Like normally when I go on trip, don't. Sorry. My cat, of course, steps on my laptop. She kind of messed up my screen here. Girl, I'm here. I can give you it. Ow. And she bites me now. I can't. I cannot with her attitude, this one. Anyways, so I met up with my siblings in Germany and it pushed me out and about. It wasn't like the normal trips that I do. Normally, when I go on trips, it's like in Peru and I'm secluded in the mountains, or, I'm going to a retreat or an ayahuasca ceremony, or I'm like secluded when I go on these trips that I've been going on for the last few years. And it's very internal, it's very slow. This was the opposite of that. I was visiting major cities. I was up and about. I was actually sick for the first week of my trip. I think it was such an adjustment. My body's like, what is going on? So I was completely sick for the first week of my trip, but I pushed through and I ended up being okay. I went to Germany, and then me, my sister, and her boyfriend went to Prague. And then from Prague, we went to Amsterdam. And from Amsterdam, that's when we split. And originally, I thought I was going to go to Scotland and Ireland, but I kind of had this aha moment when I was there because I thought I was being called there. But I was just not excited about it because the weather was awful. And I was like, why am I going to be going to awful weather? I know I'm going to go to Scotland and Ireland one day, and I can't wait to go, but it just didn't feel like the time. I feel like when I go, I'm going to go during more of the summer season as opposed to when it starts to get gloomy, because it was October and I was looking at the weather forecast and it was just all rain. And I'm like, when I come back to Vancouver area, it's going to be all rain. I'm not trying to go on a vacation where it's all rain and gloomy. Like, no. So I was like, why is my soul calling me there? And then I was like, this is where the aha moment. I was like, Brittany, you need to stop doing where you think you're being called to go, and you need to go where you want to go. And Italy, 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 Italy just kept popping in, and I got so excited. So I was like, screw this. I'm going to Italy. So a change of plans, went to Italy. And it's funny because right before I went to Europe, I bought a fake tree for my house because I have to buy fake plants because of my cats. And I bought an olive tree. This olive tree like stood out to me. I wasn't looking for it. And there was a place in my house that was empty and I was looking for something to go there. So I ended up buying an olive tree. Fast forward to Italy, I'm surrounded by olive trees. It's like my soul knew before I knew. Anyways, I fell in love with olive oil there. That's a whole other thing. But being in Italy, I went to Florence and I was there. That was like the biggest chunk of my trip. I spent, I think, at least 8 days there or 10 days there. It was amazing. You guys, Florence brought me back to life. Like when I tell you my love for life again, just woo, I don't even know how to articulate it. Like I signed myself up for a cooking class. I signed myself up for wine tasting. I signed myself up for horseback riding. The city just had such a magical, beautiful energy. I felt very, very safe. I stayed in two different Airbnbs there. And oh my goodness, I literally had such a beautiful, magical time. I ate whatever I wanted, when I wanted. I treated myself. I dressed myself up, all for me. Like I really wined and dined myself. And you don't need to be single to do this. Like whether you're single or in a relationship, I think it's so important to really treat yourself, like treat yourself. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I've treated myself in the past, but this trip in particular, like I really splurged on myself. Like I really splurged and I'm like, I deserve this. I deserve this. I took myself out to nice dinners. I took myself out to breakfast every morning. I got myself a nice cappuccino every morning. I didn't worry about the money. I didn't stress about it. And this is not me telling you to make silly, stupid decisions and just blow all your money. You know what I mean? Like this was very soul aligned and divine, So I want to make that very clear. But I really just splurged on myself. I would go out and I wouldn't, not saying I ordered 3 meals and was, um, gluttonous, you know what I'm saying? But I would go out and I would look at what I wanted without necessarily trying to find like a cheaper menu item. I'd say, okay, what is it that I really want? I want a steak. Like I said before, I took myself out to a steakhouse. I remember going and eating pasta every day and pizza and not worrying about the calories or what I was consuming. It was just so freeing. I really fell in love with life again. And it was such a mirror. That whole trip was such a mirror because it really showed me how far I've come. And I feel like it's really, yeah, it really was the perfect mirror to show me how far I've come and how much I've really changed because I am really embodying this new version of myself. And that has taken time. And hey, we're always going to reach deeper levels of embodiment because the journey never ends. But compared to where I was, holy crap, just that whole trip, just how I showed up for myself in so many different ways. And I'll give you one little example, but this is just an example. I'll give you this example. So I got asked out on a date a few times actually. I said no, no, and then I said yes to the third guy that asked me out on a date because I thought, you know what, why not? Like, why not? Why not? We'll see how it goes. So we went out, and there's no harm. There's no harm in that. We went out to eat. It was fine. La da 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 da. And then at the end of the night, he asked me if I wanted to spend the night with him. And genuinely, I was disgusted. Like when I tell you I was repulsed, I was genuinely disgusted. And the old version of me would have liked the attention, you know? Whether I would have spent the night with him or not, I can't say. I don't know. But I know the old version of me would have liked the attention. I would have been like, oh, he's interested in me. He likes me, or, da 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 da. Or the old version of me might feel bad, like, oh, how do I say no? How do I turn him down? I don't want to hurt his feelings. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? And this new version of me had no problem being very honest in a kind way. I wasn't rude, but I said, no, I don't spend the night with someone after first meeting them. And I said, I'm waiting for my future husband. And yeah, I just, and I could tell he was kind of surprised. And some people are like, oh, well, that's just the culture there. That's the culture of Italy or whatever. And I just think that if we, regardless of the culture, and I'm using quotations, if we have normalized this, I think there's something seriously wrong with that, because I don't think that it should be normal. And I know it's become very normalized. It should not be normal to sleep with someone or to expect somebody to sleep with you after simply taking them out for dinner. There are so many statistics. If you look at statistics, single women are statistically a lot happier and a lot more successful than married women. And this is not me saying if you're married, you can't achieve success. You can't. That's not what I'm saying, but this is statistics. And statistically, married men are a lot more successful than single men. Statistically, married men are a lot happier than single men. Why is that? Is because we live in a society where women are expected to give and give and give. And when you have intercourse, you are quite literally, like, as women, we naturally have more access to life force energy because of our womb. It doesn't make us better than, but we have more life force energy than men. And when you have intercourse, there is an exchange there. So by having intercourse with a man, you are quite literally giving them your life force energy. I who how dare you think you have access to my life force energy after a dinner? Fuck off. Like, when I tell you my skin crawled from head to toe, I was disgusted. Like, genuinely, I was repulsed. And I know that it's become normalized, right? But it shouldn't be. And I feel like women should feel repulsed by that. And I feel like when I'm going to give my life force energy to someone, they best believe are going to make sure that my life is easier in other ways. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be a mutual exchange. And in many partnerships between men and women, unfortunately, it's not a mutual exchange. It's oftentimes, not always, of course, not always, but oftentimes the woman giving more than the man, which is why we see the statistics that we see, right? And that has become expected of women. So it's internalized and it happens at a subconscious level. We don't realize it. But you can't, the stats don't lie, right? Anyways, going back to what I was saying, it just really mirrored to me, though, how far I've come. Like, I was genuinely disgusted, like genuinely, because it's one thing to know that you should be disgusted, but it's another thing to genuinely feel that way. So I was just like so proud of myself for how I showed up for myself, not only in that situation, but in other situations, just throughout, because this trip really mirrored this new level of embodiment that I have achieved within myself. And it just, I don't know, it just brought me back to life, just all of it. And coming home, I'm just so excited for life. I'm excited to create. I'm excited for what's in store. Ah, I just feel so happy and so good and just so grateful. And it was a journey, though. It was a journey. This just didn't happen overnight. This was a journey. At one point in my journey, when I tell you, I was waking up every single day and I didn't know how I would feel that day. There was a good chunk of at least 6 months where I was crying, deeply crying every single day, because I was purging so much emotion that was trapped within me that needed to be purged. Um, and that's when it was like super intense, but it's been super intense for me since 2020. Well, this journey really started in 2020 for me, but it got super intense in 2022. 2023 was very intense. It was the year of 2023. Honestly, for that whole year, like, emotionally, I was all over the place. I was purging so much deep sadness, deep grief, deep a lot of stuff moving through my body. And I was like, when am I ever going to feel better? When is this feeling of sadness, of despair ever going to leave? And I continued, I persevered, I continued to focus on myself, and slowly it started getting better and better. 2024 was still tough for different reasons, but it was getting better. 2025, I've still been on a journey this year, but I finally truly feel like, okay, I'm starting to see the light of day, like really starting to see the light of day. And I'm really starting to see that be mirrored back to me in my external reality. Um, and this Europe trip really showed me that, and yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about it, and, a couple of other things I learned on this trip. So I really thought I was gonna meet someone because the universe made me feel like I was gonna meet a partner. I had a reading done, and without me even saying anything, the woman said that I was going to meet someone on the trip. So I went in with a little expectation of meeting somebody. I try not to, right? But I'm human. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm human at the end of the day. I do desire love. Of course I do. I'm obsessed with myself and my own life. I don't need anybody. I have very high standards, so I'm not just going to date anybody. And it's taken me a long time to get here, but I've been single for a while, and I really thought I was gonna meet someone as well. So, because I desire it, my soul desires it because I know that there is somebody out there for me. There's nothing wrong with having that desire. I wanna make that very clear. I had a little bit of an expectation. I tried not to because I knew better. I said, "Things never happen the way you think. I need to not have an expectation going into this trip." But of course I did. A little bit. So I had a couple waves of disappointment when that didn't pan out. And I'm like, why would the universe do this? Why would they give me this message that I'm going to meet someone for I received the message for myself after I booked the trip. Let me make it very clear that's not why I went. But I received that message for myself. Also, I received that message through another woman who is, a very gifted channel. I'm like, why would the universe give me this message only to bring up this disappointment? And even though I don't fully understand it, it got me really reflecting. And I actually, I've been using my Instagram to write and create through my Instagram. So I'm gonna showcase, or I'm gonna read you another. This is what this is. I'm just gonna read my thoughts because I sat in a cafe and I was really thinking about this and love. And oh, because another reason is, during this time, I saw a video on my Instagram, a woman saying, this might trigger some people, but the reason why I've never had issues, finding love is because I embody love and I radiate love. And it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute. So, hence this post. We need to stop speaking about love as if it's something to earn. The truth is, we are love, and it will enter our lives exactly when our soul planned for it to, not necessarily when we're ready. Let me explain. It's simply not true that you have to reach a certain level of healing or embodiment before love arrives. I've seen people meet their soulmates before doing any healing work, and I've seen others do years of inner work and are still waiting. I see so many creators online saying things like, you have to embody love to attract love, or it'll come when you're ready. But that narrative is not always true and can be harmful because it implies there's only one correct way for love to arrive, when in reality, there isn't. Yes, you can only love another as deeply as you love yourself, and another can only love you as deeply as they love themselves, but that doesn't mean love can't or won't align because you haven't reached a certain level of self love, healing, or embodiment yet. The truth is, there will always be a deeper layer of healing and self love to reach because that's the journey. And there is no destination on the healing/slash self love journey. If love is supposed to align, it will, and it will meet you exactly where you are at. The truth is, we're all walking our own unique soul path. Our souls already chose the timing of when love would align based on our own personal needs and the lessons we're meant to learn. For some, that alignment happens early because love itself becomes the catalyst for healing. For others, it comes later because being on their own for a while is part of their growth. But it's never a punishment, and it's never because you are not healed enough. Telling people that love only comes once they're ready or once they've embodied love implies they're broken and have more work to do, or unworthy until they reach some invisible milestone. That belief is rooted in distortion and keeps people trapped in shame and endless self fixing, as if love is a prize to be earned instead of a frequency that finds us when the timing is right. Some people meet their soulmate early and experience profound healing and growth within that one relationship, uncovering deeper layers of love together. Others move through multiple relationships, each one revealing new levels of love and self-understanding. And some walk the single path for a while, deepening in love within themselves before attracting a love that mirrors that depth. There's no right or wrong way, just the path your soul chose. We are worthy of love exactly as we are, whole, complete, and human. Just because love hasn't entered your life yet doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It simply might mean your soul chose a timeline where your single season serves your highest evolution. Try surrendering into trust and into the knowing that you're not behind and that there is nothing wrong with you. You are exactly where you are supposed to be.
We're interrupting this episode to share something close to our hearts, our virtual healing circles. We have been loving them so much and meeting so many of you incredible people through them. Brittany and I are passionate about bringing people together to support one another and heal in community. We felt alone on our paths for so long, and coming together in community has been instrumental to our growth, and we've both seen the importance in it. We aren't meant to do this alone. In unity and vulnerability, we find strength, courage, and support each other on our paths back to ourselves. Our monthly virtual seminars blend discussions, workshops, and practices to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Whether seeking guidance, healing, or a listening ear, our gatherings offer a safe, inclusive space for people to connect, heal, and grow. Join us on this journey of healing in community. Together, we can heal, grow, and thrive. Register for the next circle using the link in the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, it that post plus the disappointment, it brought that disappointment to surface, really got me to reflect, and it's making me a little emotional. And I feel like there was a while where I was stuck in that cycle of feeling like when I'm healed enough, when I reach this level of healing, then love's going to come in. Or, I'm only good enough for love when I reach X, Y, and Z. And it was like this invisible milestone, this invisible milestone. And that's bullshit. That's not true. You are love, I am love, and we are worthy of love right here, right now. And love is going to come in when your soul planned for it to come in. And it might not come in as soon as your ego wants it to, because trust me, that's been my journey. Love has not come in when my ego has wanted it to come in. And love has been one of my relationships, and love has been one of my greatest teachers. And I've been through some very deep heartbreak, and I'm tired. I'm fucking tired of it. And I'm annoyed at it. And I'm done. Okay. So if you're there, know that you're not alone. I'm with you, but know that you can surrender into the knowing that love is not going to miss you. You don't have to do anything more. You don't have to do anything less, because you are worthy of love as you are right here, right now, period. So it's not a matter of doing more or healing more, because love is not something to earn. Love simply aligns when your soul planned for it to. So when I really made that click and aha moment, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And it's making me emotional. It's like I could surrender into the knowing that it's already coming, and it's going to come at the perfect timing because my soul planned it ahead of time. And I know that my higher self planned what's best for me. So I need to just surrender and let it go and just be here, right now. And that could be hard. Again, there's nothing wrong with the desire. Feel the desire, feel the frustration. I'm right there with you. And it's hard when, you look at other people who have met, their soulmates from a younger age or whatever it may be, or they haven't done the healing work you've done. I understand that those feelings are all valid. Okay. And, sometimes it's also frustrating to hear people in a relationship giving advice about how to attract love. And it's like, where is this advice coming from? Maybe that was your experience, but it also makes, because, like, for example, when I saw that video of that woman, I was like, she has no idea. She has no idea. Like, I know the work I've done. I know the work I've done. So that video really just caused me to sit and reflect. And, anyways, you get it. My point with this is all paths are different, all roads are different. One is not better than the other. And, this disappointment that this trip brought up really had me sit and reflect and realize that. So I just wanted to share that too, another light bulb aha learning moment. And I think it's important. I think it's important for those of you to hear, whether you're single or in a relationship. It's like just because someone's single, it doesn't mean they're not healed enough. It doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. It's simply the path their soul chose for whatever reason that may be. And if you found your soulmate early, that's beautiful. It's like recognize it for the blessing that that is. Recognize it for the blessing that that is and be grateful to have that in your life, because there are other people who truly deeply desire that, who don't have that quite yet, and all paths are different, right? Like, I'm sure all paths are different, right? It's easy to look at another path and say, oh, the grass is greener on the other side, which is why it's also so important not to compare, right? Maybe somebody met their soulmate at a younger age, but maybe they have other battles that you can't necessarily see. Maybe that love entered their life to support them through those battles that you can't see. Does that make sense? So it's so important to not judge, to not compare, and to know that you are worthy as you are, whole and complete. There's nothing more or less that you need to do to achieve love, because love is not an achievement. It's not something you earn. It's something that aligns when it's meant to. And I think that that's really important to understand. It was an aha moment for me. And it just makes it easier to surrender into the knowing that it's okay, gonna come when my soul wanted it to, even though my ego wanted it to align already. It's accepting that it hasn't and knowing that there's divine purpose to it. And I wouldn't be who I am today without my specific journey. And I'm grateful because I freaking love who I am. I'm in love with who I am. Anyways, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to share with you guys about my Europe adventure. Take yourself out. This is something else I'm going to do even more often, because I was taking myself out already, but I'm going to do this even more often, where I dress up. I dress up. Take myself out to a nice dinner or whatever it may be. Do things for yourself. Really treat, not that you have to do it all the time, but treat yourself. Love yourself, wine and dine yourself, date yourself, love yourself. Whether you're in a relationship or not, it doesn't matter. Because, and just don't be afraid to live life. Sometimes when we get into this healing journey, it's easy to just hermit and just stay in. And I get it because I've been there. But there's so much beauty to life. And that's why you do all the healing. Right? That's why you do all the healing, to change your perspective, to embody a new version so that you can experience life in a different way that you wouldn't have been able to experience before. So go experience living. Don't stay in hermit mode. Okay, do the healing, and sometimes you need to retreat inward. I get it. I've been there, but don't lock yourself in there. Life is meant to be lived. Life is meant to be experienced, and that's why we do all the healing, is to experience this life. So remember that. I love you. Thank you so much for listening. This felt fun. It felt like a sit down little girly chat or manly chat or anything in between, doesn't matter. But I just felt like I was able to just like sip little tea time with you guys. Um, yeah, so I hope you are getting cozy for the holiday season. If you don't celebrate, I hope you're just getting cozy in your everyday life. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for, listening. And if you made it to the end, something that I'm really excited about. Okay, so I created a 20-week program, and this is something that I spent a lot of time on. There's 16 lessons and there's 16 videos, and each lesson comes with integration practices, reflection questions. It comes with like different lessons come with different I don't know what the word is, resources. So I have like guided meditations in there. I have extra videos in there. So there's a lot of resources that I've created that are all within this program. And it's designed to essentially, the point of this is to help you come home to self, to help you connect with your intuition, to disconnect from, the rat race, and to reconnect with yourself. It's aimed to help you connect with your spirit guides, your spirit team, because you have everything that you need from within you. You don't need anything outside of you. So I created a whole program to help you reconnect with that source within you. so that you can go on and make change in your life, essentially. Saying yes to this program is saying yes to deep transformation and deep change. It will require self-devotion. The program won't change you. You will change yourself through integration. The key point is integration and actually doing all of the practices, and really taking the time with it, which is why it's 20 weeks. It's not just watch all the videos and you have all the answers, right? Because the key point is embodiment, and that happens through integration and self-devotion, which takes time. So I have that program, which I'm really excited about, and you can purchase that if you head over to like my Instagram or whatever. You can head over to my website or my Stand Store link, which will take you to the program, and you can purchase that and you can move through it completely on your own time. It's set up so that you can integrate it into your daily life. Also, come the new year, I'm going to be taking 2 groups, no more, no less, 2 groups of 12. So the groups are going to be intimate and small, and I'm doing that on purpose. And I'm going to be taking 2 groups and doing group mentorship, basically. Woo! And I'm super excited. And as a group, we're going to be going through the 20-week program. So, of course, this is going to be a little like the pricing is going to be much different because you're paying for the group mentorship sessions over the course of 20 weeks, and we're meeting every week. Plus, you're going to get full access to the course. So, if you're interested in that, check out my websites, check out my Stand Store link. I don't really know exactly when this video is going out. At the time of me filming this, it's November 3rd. And I'm currently putting together the group mentorship like behind the scenes. So it's not out yet, but it might be out at the time of this video. I'm not sure, but stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm going to announce it. You can also send me a message through my website. Go to my website, scroll down to the bottom, send me a message, say you're interested in group mentorship, and you will get an email when it goes live. And everybody on the email list will get early access, essentially, because it will be first come, first serve. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. But I will be taking another 2 groups, probably. I mean, we'll see what happens when that time comes. But as of right now, I'm thinking of taking 2 groups for the first half of the year, 2 groups for the second half of the year. And I think I'm going to have a group where we meet in the morning, afternoon, and then a group where we meet in the evenings, like after work sort of a thing. So yeah, group mentorship starts in January. I'm really excited about this. Woo! This is soul led. It's very soul led, divinely led. And you'll feel called to it. It won't be for everybody, and that's okay. Trust yourself, trust your path, trust your intuition. But if you do feel called to the group mentorship, you'll know it'll feel like a calling. Yeah, so I'm excited because we'll help keep each other accountable. It'll give you time to, yeah, bring your questions to me, ask questions, and all of the things. Or, of course, you can simply purchase the course alone and go through it on your own time, which it's available in that way as well. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening to this. I'm sending you so, so, so much love, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude for joining us on this journey. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you enjoyed this episode and find value in our conversations, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also allows us to reach more people who can benefit from our community of healing and support. Every review, every rating makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of the Multiple Truths podcast family. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. Keep speaking your truth and spreading your light. We love you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.